Steven, you've been responsible for staging some of the biggest fights in boxing history over the last couple decades. And here we are again with another big delivery from Showtime with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. I'm sure this was one of the hardest fights to make in your career. Can you kind of describe what the process was like and some of the big obstacles you overcame to put this fight into fruition?
Yeah, it was a unique set of challenges, on this particular fight, and part of it was we had two very involved fighters. And particularly Terence Crawford was very active. He's running his own show. He's got a good team around him, but he's very involved directly in it, and had very specific and defined needs, wants, requirements for the negotiation. So it was a little bit different of a discussion. Obviously, usually there is a promoter involved, and here there is with TGB, but there wasn't a promoter on the Crawford side, and so it was unique. And it was a high-profile fight. This is a career-defining fight. As accomplished as these guys are, a deal like this doesn't get done until everybody's absolutely happy with their deal. So it was a long, sort of grueling process at times, but that's how it should be. That's the way it needs to be, because no one should go into this fight with less than 100% satisfaction with the deal.
What do you think were the biggest terms the fighters had to concede on in order for this fight to happen?
It wasn't so much specific terms as it was, the concessions that they had to make. And I think when the fight fell apart last fall and both fighters sort of went their separate directions, everybody had a bad taste in their mouth. Nobody was satisfied with how it felt. And so when we were able to come back together and start discussions again, it was that's what motivated everybody. We knew what it was like to get to the 2-yard line and for it not to happen. So I think the difference the next time around was that everybody used that to push themselves to a point of discomfort. So it's sort of like, usually in negotiation, you get to a point like, I'll give until I'm comfortable, but not when I get uncomfortable. Here, everybody gave a little bit more. And everybody got to a point where they started giving up some things that made them a little bit uncomfortable. And, that's sort of the sign of a good deal. Everybody had to, reach back and give more than they thought they should in order to get it done. And that's how you know that this was a big deal, is everybody made concessions that they never made before.
Absolutely. And, the framework is there for a rematch. It's going to be on the table. It would be a foregone conclusion that we are going to see a rematch, because you would think the loser would want to have a shot at it again. That puts you in a great position as well, too, because you already have that fight in the second one just waiting for you. Is the plan to put that stage that by the end of the year as well?
I think that would be the fighter's preference. I mean, they're two guys who like to stay active. No reason to wait. So if all the pieces fell into place correctly, then sure, by the end of the year. But I think you're right. You never know what can happen with scorecards or a headbutt or an injury. It would have been sort of silly to stage this fight and not have a rematch already built in case something weird happens or we get a controversial decision.
Mm-hmm.